All right, let's dive right into this explainer. We really need to talk about that massive frustration you, and probably your entire boardroom, are feeling right now. You've likely approved the millions in budget, you've signed off on all those massive vendor contracts, but when you actually look for the bottom line results you promised the board, crickets, just absolute silence. Today, we're going to break down exactly why that $100 billion AI illusion is happening, and more importantly, how the most successful organizations are actually solving it. So, here's our roadmap for today. We'll kick things off with the $100 billion illusion, then diagnose the real problem, introduce you to something called decision velocity, break down the 4 pillars of readiness, and finish up with exactly where to begin right now.
Section 1. The $100 billion illusion.
Look, if you're feeling this pain, you are definitely not alone. Research from heavy hitters like MIT and the RAND Corporation shows something pretty staggering. When it comes to generative AI, about 95% of pilots fail to deliver any measurable financial return. 95%! That is a colossal failure rate across the board.
And the core symptom across the enterprise is just painfully clear. Your IT dashboards might be glowing green, right? And your vendors are promising total transformation. But when you look at synthesized analyses, 80% of organizations report absolutely no meaningful impact on their enterprise-wide profit and loss. The needle on EBIT, it just hasn't moved at all.
Well, here's what's happening. We're basically celebrating activity instead of impact. We're building these incredibly expensive, highly sophisticated science projects that just get stuck in what we like to call pilot purgatory. You know the drill. They work flawlessly in a neat little sandbox, but they completely suffocate in the messy reality of production. A staggering 88% of AI pilots never even reach wide-scale deployment. And because of this mounting frustration, 42% of companies completely abandon most of their AI initiatives by mid-2025. Just for context, that's up from 17% the year before. Yikes!
Section 2. Diagnosing the real problem.
Now, the C-suite is palpably frustrated, caught between a board demanding AI-driven growth and an organization that's just spinning its wheels. You're probably being told, hey, we just need more data, better models, a bigger budget, but let's look at the true root cause here. It's actually not a technology problem at all. The models, they work flawlessly. It is entirely an organizational readiness problem. Pouring money into new tools right now is literally like trying to build a skyscraper on a swamp. The issue isn't your steel and glass, it's the ground underneath.
So how does this weak foundation actually show up? Usually it manifests through 3 systemic organizational mistakes. First, leadership just hands off the entire AI strategy to the IT department. The CEO signs the check but then totally disengages, treating it like a tech upgrade instead of a fundamental business model redesign. Second up is bad data. Companies blow their budgets on shiny new tools instead of doing the incredibly unsexy work of fixing their fragmented data foundation. And third, there's a profound disconnect between what the AI model spits out and how humans actually do their jobs. Imagine building this brilliant forecasting engine, but your sales team just stubbornly sticks to their old spreadsheets. The model works perfectly, sure, but the organization completely resists it.
Which brings us to an absolutely critical takeaway. AI doesn't transform organizations on its own. It just amplifies what's already there. Seriously, AI does not fix your structural flaws. It accelerates them. If your processes are broken, your data's a mess, and no one knows who's accountable for what, well, AI is simply going to help you make catastrophic operational mistakes at unprecedented speed, and frankly, at a much greater expense.
Section 3. Meet decision velocity.
If our old metrics, like just counting how many models we've deployed, are leading us astray, we desperately need a new vital sign to monitor the health of our AI initiatives. We need to look at what the top-performing CEOs are measuring, and that is decision velocity. It's the exact elapsed time from the very moment your organization receives a critical market signal to the exact moment it executes an informed, strategic response. Try to visualize this critical elapsed time in your own business for a second. It flows from signal to analysis to decision and finally to action. Say a supply chain disruption is detected. How long does it take you to actually reroute those shipments? Or a competitor slashes their pricing, how long until you counteroffer? For most companies, this whole workflow takes weeks, sometimes even months, completely bogged down by endless committees and siloed information. Decision velocity asks one simple thing. Is our model's output reaching the right person so they can make a better, faster decision?
We really have to contrast 2 wildly different outcomes here. Saving an employee an hour on writing a TPS report? Okay, that's a nice little efficiency gain. But using AI to compress a critical strategic decision cycle from 2 months down to 2 days, that is a massive competitive advantage. One just saves a tiny bit of time, the other completely reshapes your position in the market.
Section 4. 4 Pillars of Readiness.
Improving this velocity requires a systematic treatment plan. As we said, you can't build that skyscraper without a solid foundation, which is why these 4 pillars are strictly non-negotiable. Pillar 1 is foundational readiness, doing the unglamorous heavy lifting to ensure you have clean, accessible, governed data. Pillar 2 is process redesign. You've got to standardize and completely redesign your workflows around what AI can actually do. Pillar 3, decision integration, means explicitly naming the decision and the specific human owner accountable for it. If a tool isn't embedded in a revenue-driving workflow, honestly, it shouldn't be funded at all. Finally, Pillar 4 is leadership activation. This means treating AI as the new operating system of the company, actively modeled and led directly by the C-suite, not just tossed over the fence to IT.
This shift in perspective is a real game changer. The goal of AI is absolutely not to automate your current, highly inefficient processes. We have to stop asking, how can AI make our current workflow 10% faster? Instead, you really need to start asking, if we started today, with AI as a given from day one, what should this workflow look like?
And finally, Section 5, where to begin right now.
All right, let's take all this theory and turn it into practice. What exactly do you need to do when you walk into the office tomorrow? First off, do not start another pilot project. Seriously, stop funding them immediately. Instead, do a brutally honest organizational readiness audit against those 4 pillars we just talked about. Next, clearly define your operational problems before you even think about the tech. Name the 3 most critical business decisions AI should be improving right now, whether that's pricing, inventory, or customer churn. And lastly, assign clear ownership to the business leader whose P&L is actually on the line. Again, not the IT department.
The organizations winning today aren't winning because they just went out and bought better technology. They are winning because they built a superior organization by tackling the messy, complicated realities of data, process, and culture. They get that AI's true power is accelerating the speed and quality of decisions. So I'll leave you with this final $100 billion question. The choice to do the messy, hard organizational work is entirely yours. But are you actually willing to do what it takes to make that investment pay off?